Hello and welcome to Punta del Este on the coast of Uruguay for the latest round. Of course, it is it should be the third round of the season 7 of the EERC Formula E Championship. My name is Edward Hunter. Alongside me in the commentary box is Mr. Peter Schooneman, who sadly is the only one joining us. No Nick Homewood, he's getting the week off. And no Lorenzo Terovic either. So, yeah, we'll have to, I guess, give him Peter's shyness. It's just me, myself, and I, or I can't fly. Anyway, we've just had our group qualifying session completed. We have 5 cars that have gone through to Super Bowl. The first of which on track is Mr. Louis Hartley, who was 5th in his qualifying session. The other people who've made it into the top 5 are... Oh, that's cheeky from Louis Hartley. I guess it is the warm-up session, so technically not qualifying for Super Bowl. Michael Steffel, James Knox, James Dubert, and Joshua Hamilton are the others that have made it, with Josh Hamilton being the fastest in those group stages. Also taking part tonight, we've got Robin Mulling, Binardi, Connor Knight from Ducking Fast Racing, Aidan Coleman from 360 Motorsports, Daniel Scott, also from Spinardi, Luca Gray from 360 Motorsport is with us as well in 11th. We've also got Antoni Paparinopoulos in another 360 car, as well as Stanislas Pajot. Of course, it's going to round out the top 10 on the grid then as Louis Hartley crosses the line. I wonder if he has gone into attack mode here. It's certainly not showing up on the screen, so I guess that was just Louis Hartley trying to be cheeky then. So this is Super Bowl. I did misspeak just a few seconds ago. As we see Hartley trying to get a good lap in. Oh, a little bit deep there through the 3, 4, and 6 chicane there. As he goes uphill towards 9 and 10. The double left-hander right next to where attack mode is. They'll get 3 activations come the race. Now into 11 and 12 as you're right on board. Hartley has to have a few goes turning into that chicane. Of course, this track was designed for the Gen 1 cars, so the Gen 3 car at Punta del Este is a little bit outgrown this circuit then, which requires big commitment there through 16 and 17 as Hartley slows to a crawl. And then gets going again, which is very curious to see. Into 18, 19, that big braking zone for the almost right-hand hairpin. And now the left-hand hairpin as the rears drift out for Hartley. He is going to cross the line any minute now.
I think he
117.8.
Track limit warnings from hitting the wall.
We're hearing that Hartley may have got track limits warnings for hitting the wall there. Not seeing James Knox out on track yet, so we believe it should be Michael Steffel next in action that we see. There we go. So Steffel then, winner. Byrne some weeks ago, of course. Last win 2 weeks ago in Sao Paulo, it was James Juba that took victory. 18.7 in the first sector for Michael Steffel there. And even if he's slower than Hartley, he may be able to avoid a track limits warning and take provisional pole already in Super Pole here. Yeah, Steffel through the right-hander at turn 15. Big commitment there as he just about avoids hitting the wall at the 16-17 chicane. Now just 4 more corners to go. Into turn 19 he comes. And now into 20. The never-ending left-hander here. Now 21. Where it tightens up. Just the run to the line now for Steffel. Keeps it neat and tidy on exit. This should comfortably be pole position 109.8. There we go. Brilliant last 2 sectors. But now we switch to the LEF of James Knox then. What can the Englishman do here? Purple car. A little bit sketchy on exit there as he begins his lap into the first chicane. There we go. That first chicane used to be much more of an event in the Gen 1 cars, but in Gen 3, already in it and done by the time we go 5 seconds into the lap almost. Very close to the wall on exit and nearly 4 tenths quicker And anybody else is James Knox. So it's Knox versus Steffel then. I think with Louis Hartley coming to a crawl, he lost about at least 4 or 5 seconds, and he's 8 seconds behind pole position, of course. James Knox, of course, has had to miss a round or two, looking to strike back. We'll have to go over what the championship standings are in a couple of minutes' time as well. Coming to the end of the lap now is Knox. Not as quick as Steffel through Sector 2, but he locks up terribly into turn 19 there. That's going to cost him at least a second here, possibly more. Has he messed it up right at the end? James Knox, he taps the wall on entry for 21. The line he comes. It's surely only going to be second fastest. Yes, there we go. And only a 10th shy of Michael Steffel then. So now we see James Juba making his lap, the championship leader, if I'm not very much mistaken. Or he is second, about 11 points then behind Michael Steffel. So it's our two championship protagonists going for pole position against each other, with Josh Hamilton still to come. That wasn't the greatest exit in the world from Juba. I think he slowed right down there. So now Juba might be fighting with Louis Hartley to sort of stay in 4th position here. Coming to the first split now, into the chicane and towards 15. Let's see what this is. It's not looking too promising. Yeah, no split time shown at all. You're seeing Josh Hamilton is on his outlap here. Yeah, 20 seconds down. So I think Juba might have to settle for 5th position here. I was going to say taking it easy, but the rear absolutely sliding out. Through the final corner he comes. And this is really going to be a question of, yeah, there we go. Is he going to be anywhere near Hartley's time? There we go. He does actually beat Hartley's time, and he's about 7 tenths behind Knox. That was a good final sector there. Purple final sector. Josh Hamilton drifts it. So it's Hamilton versus Steffel. It will be an into the points racing car on pole position, but will it be Michael Steffel or Joshua Hamilton? Goes extremely wide to get the best possible run on his lap here. So the Mean Machine gets into position. Josh Hamilton, the reigning champion from the season 6, 2 or 3 years ago in 2022, of course. Neat and tidy so far. Through the first chicane into chicane number 2. And again, just avoiding the wall there. Keeps on the throttle. Towards turn 9 he comes now. A little bit deep. Able to get on the power early, and it's a purple first sector. Look at that, 4 tenths up on Michael Steffel here. So you've got to say this is looking good for Josh Hamilton. He has, of course, won here before, if memory serves, again with that amazing drive from near the very, very back of the grid to beat House Sonneveld, if I'm not mistaken, in the end. Another 10th up in the middle sector, so surely this is pole position incoming for the reigning champion, Joshua Hamilton. He needs to start on pole here if he wants to have the best chance of winning this one. Over the line he comes. It's pole position for Joshua Hamilton, 108.9, and that's very much what we expected. 8 tenths clear of Michael Steffel there, so that confirms then your top 5 will be Josh Hamilton on pole, Michael Steffel second, James Knox third, best ever qualifying for the LEF drivers, James Juba 4th, Louis Hartley 5th. So big errors from, or small errors with big consequences rather, for Hartley and Juba. Top 3 for Hamilton, Steffel, and Knox. Can James Knox take that first podium? We will have to wait and see. Let's have a look at any potential comments here. 5 people watching, no comments. And one of those 5 people is also probably me. So then, as we wait for the race to begin, we can very quickly go through the championship standings. So then, in the Drivers' Championship, Michael Steffel, who starts second, is on 52 points, leading James Juba, who's got 41 points to his name. So Juba's retirement at Bern has really counted against him. But we have got the one dropped round, of course. Juba's still looking pretty good from a championship point of view. Louis Hartley is third on 39 points, just 2 behind Juba. Joshua Hamilton is fourth. Our poll set it on 32 points. So he is about 20 behind Michael Steffel, so needs to get things going. Luke Mitchell, who is not here today, is in 6th on 28 points. Luca Gray is 7th on 24. James Knox, starting 3rd, is in 8th on 20 points. Connor Knight is 9th on 17 points, exactly the same as Antoni Paparinopoulos in the 360 Motorsports Academy car, just ahead of Aidan Coleman, of course, who has 16 points to his name. So very, very tight to get into the top 10. In the team standings, Into the Points Racing Red have got 84 points, unsurprisingly. Hunter Burt Simulation are second on 69 points. Nice, but only got one car today. Sadly, Luke Mitchell did have to drop out due to work, and we couldn't find anybody who wanted to replace him. Finnevon Motorsport are third on 54 points. 360 Motorsports are fifth on 53 points. Fast Racing is sixth on 24 points. LEF are 7th on 22. 360 Motorsports Academy are 8th on... Well, actually, I've been getting the numbers wrong because I'm looking at the spreadsheet and it has team win number 1. So actually, I've been giving everyone one extra. So Into the Points Racing Road first, Hunter Burt Simulation second, Finnevon are third, 360 Motorsports are fourth, Ducking Fast Racing fifth, LEF are sixth, 360 Motorsports Academy 7th, Optiminal Esports are 8th, Spinardi are 9th, and Ducking Fastant Racing are 10th ahead of Hastet, Team Grip Level, Into the Points Racing Blue, and Rooster Motorsports. With Rooster yet to get on the scoreboard whatsoever. I'm not sure if I've actually seen any Rooster drivers at all taking part this season. We did have Ivan Brewer and Nick Habchenik. I don't think we've seen at all in recent history, along with the Hastet cars of Chris Davis and Yannick Pleiss, we've seen very little of in the last round or so. So then, action. Let's get underway. 32 laps of racing as we wait for the grid to populate. And Joshua Hamilton, having missed the round at Bern, and he yet to get a win under his belt. He was second in Hyderabad and third, wasn't he, in Sao Paulo, behind Mikael Steffel, his teammate, who overtook him, of course. So, yeah, Joshua Hamilton has been on pole for Hyderabad, of course. He's been on pole twice this season. Can he convert his second one to victory? We're just waiting now for Daniel Scott to get on the grid, and we should have a field of, sadly, only 10 cars. I believe we have lost Paparinopoulos. Unless my eyes deceive me. No, Paparinopoulos should be about to come on the grid as well. So then, you should be about to see the lights appear any moment now, as the grid is set here for round 4 of the championship in Uruguay. And lights go out. We will be underway as we are now. And it's a brilliant launch from Joshua Hamilton. Steffel threatened a little bit from Knox. Hartley has actually jumped Juba at the start here, so not a great start for Hunter Burt's simulation whatsoever here. As we see just behind Aidan Coleman, can see 2 cars ahead of him. That's, of course, Robert Mulling and Connor Knight, almost going side by side through that first chicane there. Joshua Hamilton and Mikael Steffel looking to control this race from the front then. Into the Points will surely work together to limit the score of Hunter Birch and LEF behind them, who I think have only really got one car up front in both instances. Louis Hartley now has actually just been overtaken, repassed by Juba then at the end of the first sector. As you see yellow flags briefly shown but cleared now. Annoyingly, my timing screen only keeps disappearing, going blank, unless every sort of 10 seconds or so. So I've only got intermittent timing here. Yep, there we go. It's just disappeared again. So I'll have to rely on what we see on screen. Now it's back. But yes, at the end of the first lap, Hamilton leads Mikael Steffel, James Knox, James Juba, and Louis Hartley. But now Robin Mulling is challenging Connor Knight in that ducking fast, the purple car, for 6th. So we've got Spinardi versus ducking fast then to be best of the rest outside of our sort of title protagonists. Just behind them, you can see Aiden Coleman and Daniel Scott not far behind as well. On this second lap, nobody quite deciding to bail for the attack mode just yet. But you can see Juba annoyed with that difficult qualifying, knowing that he needs to clear James Knox quickly if he wants to fight for victory against the 2 Into the Points racing cars. And Juba, veteran of course of this championship, was a previous champion in I think season 2 and 3. Narrowly missed out in season 6 to Hamilton as well. And certainly, after taking 2 wins so far this season, Juba, who is used to sort of coming from behind after difficult qualifyings, difficult super poles rather, to a pretty excellent qualifier. Hartley, by the way, set the fastest middle sector of the race on that previous lap, but he is about 2 seconds behind this battle. We now see Aiden Coleman breaking away a little bit from Scott and starting to put pressure on Robin Mulling ahead of him, who's now being held up by Connor Knight. This to fight for 6th position. Connor Knight, formerly of XRL Esports, now with Thomas Raschke's Ducking Fast team. You can see the beach side in the background as we see Mulling trying to position the Spinardi to the outside there at the 9-10 hairpin. Knox is passed up into 2nd. What's happened to Michael Steffel? He's lost 2 positions. Steffel is down to 4th. Did Michael Steffel go for attack mode and miss it maybe? That is very odd. But we do see one driver did go into attack mode. Sorry, the timing overlay is all kinds of screwy. Only showing the top 3 as we now see Juba challenging into the turn 19 hairpin and going up the inside into turn 21. As he barges into the side, and it's Daniel Scott that did go into attack mode and has dropped a few positions there. Juba, though, muscles his way up to 2nd there. And you have to say James Knox just about left the door open for him there with that sort of scrappy exit from 19th sort of set that move up for Juba. So now Steffel has made a mistake. Knox has been overtaken by Juba, and now Juba only a second and a half behind the race leader Hamilton. So we're up for another classic Juba-Hamilton duel. Scott, by the way, is down to last position in 12th. As we see Knox, now he gets past Steffel as well. So Michael Steffel briefly got ahead there and then just went wide into 9 and 10. I don't think he was going for attack mode. I think that was a mistake there from our championship leader, who drops to 4th, which is brilliant news for Hamilton and Juba, as now Knox is starting to hold up Steffel. So that means our 2 leaders have got the race all to themselves. Juba looking very quick here. He's not in attack mode, so this is just genuinely his pace. As we see again, Knox going very, very wide, and Steffel just not quite finding the run on the outside there as Juba is lining up Joshua Hamilton up ahead. And in fact, Steffel is being backed into Hartley there. As we see, Daniel Scott has finally gotten past Luca Gray to get back up to 11th position. Out of his attack mode, I think, or just about to run out. There we go. Luca Gray has gone into it himself. So attack mode seems to be not the most advantageous here with some of these faster corners. I think they're struggling to keep it pointed in a straight line further down with the not the 4-wheel drive, but the 350 kilowatts of energy being deployed there. As we see, look how tight Knox was on the inside at turn 9 there to try and prevent. As we see a front wing missing. That looks like potentially a Spinardi front wing that's fallen off there. 3 drivers, 3 people watching, I should say, at the moment, as we see Scott and Gray going into the pit lane. Have they potentially come together there? Scott and the Spinardi, Gray in the 360 car. I think one or both of them may have lost their front wings here. And look at this bad exit from Joshua Hamilton. Juba is getting closer and closer and nearly pushing Joshua Hamilton along through that final corner there. I wonder, are either of them thinking about going for attack mode here Because it's looking like Juba is being held up here by Hamilton more than anything, as we see really great defense of this podium position from Knox as well. Very, very interesting first 6 laps of this race then. And it could well not be over yet. Don't forget about Louis Hartley, who is only 2 seconds or so behind, as we see all to the outside. Goes, but up the inside. Goes a really big dive from Mikael Steffel, and it's old Juba going for attack mode. He has made it, and Steffel has passed Knox as well. So brilliant timing from Juba to go for attack mode when he did. He should be very, very quick down the straights here, but through the corners and the chicanes, he may have to be careful here. Luca Gray, sadly, is out of the race in the 360 Motorsports car, and surely Juba has got a brilliant exit with attack mode through the 16, 17, 18 chicane. And he is up into the lead now from Joshua Hamilton. So what will Into the Points do now? They've been bumped to second and third. The pressure is on. Will Josh Hamilton respond on this lap guy going into his own attack mode, or will he wait for Juba to run out completely of his 2 minutes of attack mode here? Remember, they get 3 activations. Could be that Juba decides to immediately go into his next one if he's got the gap to do so. Meanwhile, here is Robin Mulling down in 8th position, stuck behind Aiden Coleman. Well, Hamilton has dropped to a 2.5 now behind Juba. No sign of it. It is Hamilton that goes into attack mode, comes out alongside Steffel. Steffel lifts off the throttle. So that was crucial. I did think Into the Points would work together there, as Josh Hamilton getting very sideways over the curbs. That was a good strategy there. It means now he has to make up a 3-second deficit, or nearly 4 seconds now. James Juba is absolutely making hay with his final 25 seconds of attack mode now, setting purple sectors all over the shop. But yes, this is now that Knox is out of the way, that move from Steffel was absolutely crucial to Joshua Hamilton's race here, because it has allowed them. It's basically a fight with just exclusively between Juba and Hamilton here. Steffel, I think, knows he doesn't quite have the pace on this occasion. He might try and come back in with energy management. It is still fairly early days in the race. We're not at a third distance just yet. There we go. Juba now out of attack mode. Joshua Hamilton into his final minute. He has closed the gap slightly here, but... Whoa! And that's Mulling trying to go up the inside into the 5 and 6 chicane, almost finding himself squeezed in the wall there by Aiden Coleman. And as Coleman just backed off the throttle just a little bit there to allow the fight to continue. As we see now, Knox is all over the back of Steffel. Really loving this fight between the LEF driver and the Into the Points man. We have Steffel from Croatia, James Knox from Great Britain. Knox, of course, driver for Excellium Motorsport in UPVWC Formula Sprint 2. Final 15 seconds for Joshua Hamilton. He's not really closing on James Juba, and that is a worrying sign there, because Juba, now he's in the lead of the race and has got track position. He is starting to take control here, and Joshua Hamilton knows he may have to do something risky here. Mulling and Coleman going side by side. Oh, and again, Mulling has just not been able to get through, rather, at the through the final sector. So Aiden Coleman really getting the defensive anchor out. And we see Robin Mulling, who's already been into attack mode once. I don't think Aiden Coleman has yet, though. See just up the road is Connor Knight, having a very, very convincing run in 6th position. Mulling, just taps the wall on exit there. But the Spinardi driver, the German, looking to get one up on Aiden Coleman, the American driver, of course, in the 360. Steffel on Knox. Knox has just gone into his attack mode and has come out about 2 seconds behind Mikael Steffel. Steffel is actually starting to catch Joshua Hamilton, only 8 tenths between the two Into the Points cars. But yes, 3.5 seconds between Hamilton and Juba now. So, yeah, 10 seconds to go. So Mikael Steffel shouldn't get close enough to breeze past Josh Hamilton down the straights. He is going to have to get into defensive position from James Knox then, who's going to have that extra minute or so. attack mode, and Nox knows it. So it's either Steffel admits defeat and goes into attack mode now, or he tries to get defensive here. Oh, and Nox has a little bit of a sideways moment, but saves it through the 5-6 chicane. And here we go. Final minute coming. This is crucial now. Who goes into attack mode? It's none of them. So Nox is going to get a chance at least getting past Mikhail Steffel here. Yellow in the first sector. As Juba started to catch lap traffic here. He has lapped Daniel Scott. Looks like it was Aiden Coleman that hit trouble there. So Mulling is through. Connor Knight going into his first attack mode. James Nox not quite having the confidence on the throttle to close up to the back here. 20 seconds to go. So is it going to be a risky move from Nox? Is he just widening his line, almost hitting the wall at turn 20. Mulling always past Coleman again. So yeah, Aiden Coleman, Robin Mulling continue to swap positions. Nox getting very, very close into the first chicane. He's only got 10 more seconds or so. And he's out. So there we go. Nox is right on the back of Mikhail Steffel. You see a big air balloon in the background. Can James Nox position himself to the outside? That's surely not going to be the racing line there. And sure enough, it isn't. As again, James Nox knocks the wall on the exit of 5 and 6. Forces Mikhail Steffel to get defensive. Is Steffel going to dive for attack mode? No, he does not. But crucially, this is allowing Joshua Hamilton to build a gap in which he can go into attack mode here to try and put pressure onto Juba. Lap 11 of 32 then. So we are just over a third distance into the race. And we're approaching half distance as well. And James Nox, who has put in one of his strongest drives to date then. And in a series of pretty strong drives in this championship. Looking to take that first podium. He's been a little bit unlucky so far. But will Lady Luck shine upon him here? Will Mikhail Steffel make another mistake here? Look at those energy readings. Steffel saving more than Juba and Hamilton by 1% ahead. And Nox is on about the same energy strategy as the leaders as well. Could be fascinating as this race goes on if one driver is more efficient than the others. Nox, of course, will try and save energy in the wake. Steffel there, but there will be that temptation to go for track position here. As Josh Hamilton go into attack mode on this occasion. Doesn't look like it. Not a great exit from Steffel. You can see our championship leader looking a bit cagey here as they go into 13-14 chicane. Now through 15. Such a fast right-hander in taking a sort of nearly over 100 miles per hour almost. And the speed that they enter. So you do have to be careful not to lose the back end. A little bit deep from Steffel. And again, James Nox gets closer. Remember, the gap to Hartley behind 9 seconds now. Louis Hartley's being dropped by our 4 leaders. So will James Nox force the issue if he thinks he can get into attack mode quickly enough? Problem is, of course, it could give Mikhail Steffel breathing room that he needs to respond. Look like Josh Hamilton's actually getting away anymore. Steffel and Nox have upped their pace a little bit. Interestingly. (13 of 32). And our top 4 all on 61%. Hartley and Knight on 62. Papagiannopoulos down in 10th. Saving the most energy of anybody on 64. If you save more energy, you may not necessarily be on the fastest, and also that may be somewhat illusory given that Papagiannopoulos is 40 seconds down on the leaders. There's Robin Mulling continuing after clearing Aiden Coleman, who's now just gone into his second attack mode. He started to catch Connor Knight again, and Connor Knight is just consistently being closed as we see him saving energy through turn 15. You saw the red light flashing. That means he's regenerating energy as he lifts and coasts. Hamilton started to fall for 4 seconds behind James Juba now. As you see Mulling closing, almost hitting the back of the ducking fast car. Purpley white and black livery versus the Spinardi, which is bright yellow, bright pink, and bright blue, very pastel Miami-style colors, it must be said, despite the fact that we're racing on another coastal town, or city, I should say. Steffel defending well against the hard charger that is James Knox. Of course, James Knox, as we see Hartley going into his first attack mode, and not a moment too soon, he was really starting to lose touch with the leaders, as Mikael Steffel gets very, very close to the wall through 13-14 and 16-17, I should say. Into 19-20 they go, and Knox starting to just lose a little bit of touch here. If Steffel gets half a chance here, he might go into that second attack mode here. As we are at half distance now almost, like 15 of 32. Mulling again starting to challenge into turn 19. That's where you just really gain so much time if you get a better run through that particular chicane leading up to it through 16-17. Again, Mulling spinning the rear wheels. Of course, they're all-weather tires on these cars, so the rears do tend to spin up in the dry more than you would expect with these slick tires. Over the curbs they go. Into the 5-6 chicane. And Robin Mulling, of course, so brilliant in his performances for the Rookie Monsters team. He was in action yesterday, actually, in Grand Prix Virtual Super Lights. Louis Hartley's actually lost time. He's nearly 17 seconds now behind the lead. Knox continuing to trail Steffel by 0.6 of a second. Joshua Hamilton has closed a little bit on Juba. I wonder if Juba has started to save a bit of energy here or has made a mistake, because the gap is he's lost a couple of attempts to Josh Hamilton. Yeah, the gap 3 seconds now instead of the 3.5, 4 seconds it was earlier. It is fluctuating slightly, as you can see. %52 for all of them, as we see yellow in the final sector that clears. Might have been Scott in issues there in his attack mode. Prinopolis as well, a lap down. Now just over half distance now. Steffel is starting to close back on Josh Hamilton again. As he gets very, very close to the wall at 15. Mikael Steffel taking risks here. He's got 1% more than Josh Hamilton. Is Josh Hamilton starting to struggle, starting to get a bit inefficient here in his driving, his energy usage? Race is just slowly starting to come back to Mikael Steffel here, but he knows he could get backed into James Knox here if Joshua Hamilton is a bit of a roadblock here. So Hamilton will have to up his own pace accordingly, or they could find themselves in a bit of difficulty here. The rear steps out yet again. And it's a bit of a stalemate here between our reigning champion, Mikael Steffel. They will be in a call together. Steffel, all the rear stepping out from 5 and 6. And Hamilton hits the wall. Potentially a bit of fatigue creeping in here. This is going to allow James Juba to start to rebuild his gap. Yeah, I'm surprised James Knox hasn't gone for a second dose of attack mode yet. Maybe he is saving it for later on in the race. In his position, I would be considering it to try and at least make something happen here, because at the moment, he's not really making an impression on Steffel. Steffel's starting to get too comfortable here, for my liking, if I were James Knox. Of course, it is definitely a 2-against-1 battle, so Knox very much the underdog. I'm sure Lorenzo Terovic, his team boss, would be cheering him on. 18 of 32. Hamilton has been matching the lap times of Juba. In fact, Juba actually set 1:13.0, 0.2 slower than Hamilton and Steffel last time out. Yeah, Juba just starting to maybe not do that ultimate pace pushing now that he doesn't need to. At least not at this phase of the race. And, oh, a little wide. I thought Steffel was thinking about an attack mode, but he decides against it. It definitely feels like there's no team orders at Into the Points here. Points Racing, IPR. Deciding with both drivers still in the hunt for the championship at this phase. But they will duke it out. But of course, Steffel is ahead and leading the points at the moment. He might not be if James Juba comes away with the win here. As we see Robin Mulling now. Starting to get frustrated behind Connor Knight here. And the fact that he's been driving at Knight's pace has allowed Aidan Coleman to close back in. Oh, very messy chicane there for Connor Knight. As the sparks fly through 13, 14, into 15, they go. Can Robin Mulling get close enough? He taps the wall on the inside too. So they're both starting to trade mistakes with one another. Mulling closer than he's looked in a long, long while. Can the German slide himself up the inside into turn 19? Connor Knight attempts to break late on the outside. Is there going to be space for both of them? Oh, that's very, very messy. And up the inside. Oh, Aidan Coleman profits. And he makes a 2-for-1 move. Fantastic opportunism from Aidan Coleman as he seals the deal on the exit of turn 21 there. And Connor Knight defended well, but got a little bit sloppy. And all Aidan Coleman had to do was pick up the pieces and nip up the inside. And he's up to 6th position. Brilliant racecraft from the 360 Motorsports driver. So then, oh, Louis Hartley goes into, is that his second attack mode or is it his final? No, he's lost his front wing as Louis Hartley. Oh, that could be a bit of a problem for him with, 12 laps still to go, 13 laps actually still to go in this race. And that Finn Avon does not look fun to handle. Potentially the steering is damaged as well. We'll have to see at the end of this race any replays. Make sure we don't mess up the steering wheel is at an angle of nearly 45 degrees there. Will Louis Hartley be going into the pits as he taps the wall again? So going into attack mode has backfired for Louis Hartley. He got a little bit too far over the curb. He's going to stick it out here. But if you're Aidan Coleman, you've already gained 2 positions from others' mistakes. Steffel and Hamilton looking very, very close. And Mikael Steffel goes for attack mode. Is it going to let James Knox through? Knox drifts it. And he's just going to miss out there. So a calculated risk taken by Mikael Steffel, and it's paid off. So now surely Mikael Steffel is going to use this attack mode to sort of undercut Joshua Hamilton, who's either got to respond or be overtaken on track here. What does Knox do here as well? Does he follow Mikael Steffel into attack mode? He has looked slightly quicker over the course of this race. Surely he's got to go for attack mode either this lap or next. As we see Josh Hamilton trying to maximize his gap to Mikael Steffel, 1 second and closing. If he comes in now, I think he will emerge behind. But Joshua Hamilton sees his chances of victory starting to ebb away. The other thing is Knox is staying quite close to the back of Steffel here. So it could be that Joshua Hamilton might lose 2 positions going into attack mode rather than just the 1. So Hamilton, he might decide to stick it out here. Indeed, he does so, actually. A little bit wide from Steffel. But this means he's going to risk being overtaken by a man with 50 extra kilowatts of power here, at the very least, possibly more if they're saving energy. Through turn 15 they go. That's where Mitch Evans in season 4 putting a brilliant move on. Was it Alex Lynn, if memory serves, in the was then the DS Virgin team, which is now the Envision team. Knox all saving energy, lifting off quite early. He is expecting a battle, I think, between Hamilton and Steffel, and not for Hamilton to move aside or go into attack mode. That is really interesting. Potentially, Knox could be playing this smart by letting Steffel and Hamilton burn through their energy first. As you can just see, Juba almost 3.5 seconds up the road now, starting to just ever so slightly stretch his legs, but not breezing through his energy too quickly. There we go, all on 34%, which should tell you that this is, with all these straights, energy consumption is quite comes at quite a premium here. And yeah, this looks like James Knox is just letting Steffel run out of attack mode here before he reacts. I'm really interested by this. Steffel is the one that's sort of out of sequence here. The cars either side of him have got 2 attack modes remaining. He's got just the 1 left. 10 laps to go. Let's hope everyone's got time to use those attack modes. We did, of course, see Luke Mitchell not have his attack mode button mapped going into that race, so potentially lost out a little bit because of that. Is Robin Mulling as Connor Knight goes very, very wide because he's going into attack mode. That gives that position. So Mulling finally into the top 7 and free to chase down Aiden Coleman to take revenge. But Connor Knight, with that extra boost of power, those 50 kilowatts could make a difference in the top end. So meanwhile, the fight for second place continues between Hamilton, Steffel and Knox. Will Joshua Hamilton go into attack mode this time? It looks like he was pushing that previous lap, but not enough to come out ahead of Steffel. So James Knox is really in the position where he's got the least to lose in this battle. So he may as well try something a little bit different. Messy chicane from Steffel there. That's going to compromise his exit slightly, but Knox not quite close enough to really do a do-or-die move up the inside. It's really into 19. It's your sort of best overtaking opportunity on this circuit. If you can't overtake, you may as well save energy. Lifting and coasting, of course. It's been very, very tense, isn't it, to watch James Knox and the 2 Into the Points racing cars run nose to tail pretty much this entire race as Juba has extended his gap. Connor Knight goes into his attack mode now. And that's put him about just under 2 seconds behind Mulling, who has ran out. Only getting 2 minutes, I think, means that the attack mode, you really only get it for a lap here. So, or a lap and a half, I suppose. So it really limits what you can do. Yeah, 1 minute 12 for a lap. So yeah, it's 2 laps. If it's 2 minutes. So you've really got to make the moves quickly. 2 minutes can be a lot more beneficial on some other circuits. So I wonder, to get back briefly to Stanislas Pajot and Paparionopoulos, still going in the race. But about nearly a minute down on the lead. In fact, Paparionopoulos is over a minute down on Juba now. Juba has lost a bit of time here. Lost 2 seconds almost on this lap. And we see now Hamilton is backing himself almost into Steffel here. So is this a reaction from Juba to seeing Paparionopoulos ahead of him? He is about to lap the 360 Motorsports number 60. And he should have just made the move up the road now. Is that what we see? I believe so. But look at Steffel almost into that rear diffuser, rear winglets of Hamilton ahead of him. He is positioning himself up the inside. It's a late move. Will Josh Hamilton defend this one? No, he goes super wide. Ooh, as Juba has gone into his second attack mode finally with 7 laps to go. And we see Aiden Coleman has caught up to Louis Hartley now in the battle for 5th. Will Coleman be able to pull off a shock here? That's a very, very wounded car of Hartley. This could get very, very dangerous here. The last thing Coleman wants is to trip up over that orange and black Vinavant. Oh, Knox is past Hamilton. Hamilton has lost 2 positions here. Oh, dear. Not only has Steffel made it through, but now James Knox as well. Hamilton tried to go back up the inside into the final corner. He's going to get alongside, but what's Knox's exit? Oh, 2 big drifts for James Knox, but he, by hook or by crook, he is through as Coleman and Hartley continue the duel just behind them all as Joshua Hamilton considers a kamikaze move up the inside. That was so crucial for Mikael Steffel because they've been able to lap. That's not Paparionopoulos, is it, ahead of them? That looks like one of the Spinardi cars that they're lapping. But it must be Robin Mulling having to make way. Oh, Knox and Hamilton go side by side. It was 3 wide there on the entry to turn 9. Knox goes wide because he's going for his attack mode. And that is possibly well timed there. because he came out just ahead of the Spinardi. And now Joshua Hamilton's very much going to be at his mercy here. And if he can clear Hamilton quickly, he could be able to catch back up to Mikael Steffel here. So, yeah, this is an interesting call from James Knox here. Let's see if it works out for him. Juba, by the way, about 4 seconds now ahead of championship leader Mikael Steffel. And I believe he would be able to, if it finishes as is, not quite sure who's set the fastest lap so far. I think it might be Juba, but if it finishes as is, I believe it would be 21 points for Juba and 17 for Mikael Steffel. So 4 points taken out of the 11-point lead that Steffel enjoys so far. So that'd be almost halving the gap there. Well, of course, that's before the drop score rule comes into effect. I think with drop scores, we would very much see Juba extending his lead. Oh, as Knox has hit the wall. Oh dear, big hit with the wall there on the exit of 5 and 6. Has Knox damage and steering. Attack mode, that's almost a mirror image of what we saw Coleman do. That is given almost a free attack mode. No steering damage, but I think possibly the suspension took a bit of a battering there. As we saw, James Knox is pushing that a little bit too much to catch Joshua Hamilton. I'm going to see if I can get a replay of that through the 5 and 6 chicane by rewinding the stream a little bit. Yeah, Joshua Hamilton now should be getting... Yeah, there we go. There was a lot of curb in the rear end. It was just went very loose from, yeah, the back of the LEF car. And, oh, you can see Connor Knight has lost his front wing, but even he's not struggling as much as Louis Hartley now, who has to go wide to let the ducking fast car through the rear. Oh, that car is handling like a shopping trolley at the moment. A particularly high quality one is now Robin Mulling is getting held up by the Finnebond. So Mulling, if he can clear Hartley quickly, he might have a chance for revenge on Connor Knight here. But yeah, Aiden Coleman has driven brilliantly into 5th. Oh! And there we go. I don't know how Louis Hartley's kept it almost out of the wall there, but he shoved Robin Mulling into the wall, whether he meant to or not there. The steering damage. Mulling, I think Hartley led him through there as a sort of form of apology. Let's see how that's received. I don't think Mulling is going to be too impressed with that one now. Hartley is falling into the clutches of Stanislas Pajode and Antoni Paparinopoulos. So these two will know there is potentially now another position up for grabs. And Hartley has gone into the pit lane. So it won't be a fight at all, actually. So Louis Hartley deciding the car is undrivable and that it needs repairs. He might still come out ahead of Scott. He's decided not to bother putting on a new front wing. Oh, and side by side with James Knox there, who, to his credit, has not given up on Joshua Hamilton. Now that Hamilton's out of attack mode, Knox is caught right back up to him. Tune of 1 second. That's probably one of the closest fights, along with Mulling versus Knight, which has been going on for pretty much 29 laps here. We've got 3 laps to go. We could be seeing the final attack modes in use any moment now. Knight with that front wing that's parted company showers Robin Mulling in sparks, but looks like Connor Knight is about to be dismounted here from that sick position then that he has found himself in, because of Robin Mulling fancies revenge here in that Spinardi. Very good exit, actually, from final corner from Connor Knight there. Let's see if that's enough to hold on for the time being. Mikael Steffel starting to close on Juba, interestingly. Is Juba starting to catch up to more lap traffic? 10%. He's got 1% more than Mikael Steffel. Steffel is running it a little bit riskier here. He's running board with Juba. Over the curb he goes. He's not risking it all that much, actually, on his exit here. But it's been a while since the gap's been this small. Less than 2 seconds. He does not go into attack mode just yet. He's got to do it on lap 31. Anybody who's got their third attack mode still remaining. Could just be that they've only got 2 and I didn't get the memo here, but I'm pretty sure it's 3. It's been at pretty much all the rounds so far. Yep, 2 times 3 minutes, it says on the event info, as Mulling running out of chances here to get past the ducking past car. How difficult will it be past that purple car with no front wing? Well, a lot harder than you expect. I believe Hartley is out of the pit lane, but the time screen has not reflected that on the overlay. No, he is still in it, sorry. So he did decide he needed a new front wing after all. As look at this. Who is that catching up to the back? It can't be Aiden Coleman. He's ahead of this lot. So it must be the... Is that another 360? It's Antoni Paparinopoulos, who is actually doing a really good comeback here to get into this fight for 6th position. And no way through, though, for Connor Knight. Look at Knox. Oh, another close brush with the wall at 5 and 6, but he gets a better exit than Joshua Hamilton. Now goes back to the racing line, forcing Josh Hamilton to get defensive here. As Peugeot goes into his final attack mode. Surely anybody else who's got attack mode number 3 remaining has got to use it now. Look at this lap traffic ahead of Knox. Let's look at this. Paparinopoulos sizing up Robin Mulling. There's race leader Juba about to start the final lap. You can see how much Connor Knight is backing them all into each other. And this is not ideal for James Juba to have a train of 3 cars immediately ahead of him. Steffel still 2.4 seconds in arrears. And will Juba decide to use that final attack mode? I've been losing track whether he's got one left. Paparinopoulos, oh, has a big tag slapper. And that's going to end his chances of getting into the top 7 here. As now Mulling free to chase Knight once again, as Knox is going to rally his way. Oh, big mistake from Joshua Hamilton. This could be Knox's best opportunity. Side by side they go through 3 and 4, but he's going to be on the outside into turn 5 and will surely have to back off as into the wall goes the that looks like the Sanas Peugeot just tapping the wall to get some attention in the background. But now Knox goes to the outside here. How far alongside can he go? He's not going to go for attack mode. Oh, and almost in the wall. Joshua Hamilton just leaves enough room, but only marginally so. And Juba now a few corners away from victory as Knox loses out there. Jubra's got through. Oh, it's so messy here with the lap traffic getting in the way of Mikhail Steffel now, who cannot actually pass. Looks like Paparinopoulos has gotten up to 6th. Oh, just hits the wall. But it's Juba that's going to take his 3rd victory of the season here at Punta Del Este. He wins by 1.5 seconds from Mikhail Steffel there, who is going to hold the championship lead, at least for the time being. Knox to the outside of Hamilton. It's going to be a drag race to the line. And will Knox take his first podium? No, it will be Joshua Hamilton by the skin of his teeth. Just less than half a second between the two there. Just 2 tenths as they cross the line. Wow, what an excellent race and what a brilliant show those two put on for us. Aiden Coleman is going to take a brilliant 5th, but Paparinopoulos from the very back of the grid, he takes 6th from Connor Knight there. And Robin Mulling was the big loser on that final lap, dropping to 9th. We didn't quite see what happened there. But really, all the action was lower down. Once Juba got to the lead, it was a game over for everybody else, it must be said. That move from Coleman will have to, has to stand out as one of the moves of the race. As we go back to a replay. This looks like a live footage of everybody making their way just to pit lane. One of the into the points. I think that was Hamilton just deciding to go full speed into a wall there. Okay, this looks like the final lap then. Knight with Mulling behind. Oh, Connor Knight gets over the curb. There's Juba coming through the lap. And you can see Paparinopoulos following in his wake here as well, trying to follow Juba through. Oh, Connor Knight is almost trying to back off. Blue flag showing. They have to let Juba through at the same time. And Paparinopoulos is able to take advantage of that. It was very, very clever from Antoni Paparinopoulos. Then, of course, they've got to let Steffel through as well. And that's what really hurts Robin Mulling there and drops him to 9th. A feel for Robin Mulling. It was a strong race otherwise. He immediately decides to end the race in the pits. So that allows Peugeot through into 8th, of course. Yeah, bitter disappointment for the German. I'm gonna just briefly close the windows so that no flies get into my house because it's gone very dark here. And then I think we'll do some interviews. Yeah, that would have been the moment where if I had a coconut potato, I'd have thrown to them. But I don't. And luckily for us, 3 people are watching, possibly less than that. No, just 1. And that's me. Anyway, replay at the start here. This is how Hartley jumped Juba off the line. Juba again suffering his customary abysmal start. Oh, and nearly getting spun around by Connor Knight as well for the first couple of corners for good measure. Knight lucky to hold on to that what would have been 6th position at the time. But yeah, you forget how many passes there's. Mulling makes the dive on Coleman. It doesn't quite work out into 5 and 6. And that was really what defined Mulling's race, being stuck behind Coleman and Connor Knight for good measure as well. Though at this start, I forgot Rob Mulling did get through there, as there's Daniel Scott. Scott suffered a big accident, I think, in these early laps. Cut the chicane, had to slow right down. Oh, it came upon the spun car of Paparinopoulos. Oh, and then immediately pinballed off the wall and had to hit. And Paparinopoulos then crashed into the back of him and lost his front wing. So, miraculous recovery from Antoni, all things considered then. And then on. Nobody in the interview waiting room, by the way. There's Luca Gray suddenly coming to a stop and deciding to go to the pit lane. So I would suspect maybe some sort of wheel or throttle or brake pedal failure there. Here's Robin Mulling diving up the inside of Coleman. Oh, he lost that one on his own. I did say at the time that I thought Coleman squeezed him because we just saw the end of it. But I think Aiden played fair there. There they are again going at it. Oh, and that time there was contact on the inside from Coleman. And Coleman then immediately dives back up into 21. Mulling to the outside. It was a fantastic duel between the two. Less. Side by side. Oh, that's ending badly. Oh, dear. Round goes Coleman through 5 and 6. So the 360 Motorsports car does a 360. And yeah, Coleman incredibly well to get back through and into 5th after that. As here's what's happened to Louis Hartley. That very much opened the door. He's already lost his front wing at this point. So he must have had contact at the 5-6 chicane like so many others did. That was what damaged the steering and broke off his front wing. And here is where Daniel Scott's day finally came to an end. Oh, too deep into 17-18. And both front and rear wings parting company there. It was Mulling versus Knight. Oh, wasn't really room for Robin at the final corner there up the inside. Wasn't quite close enough for that move to be on. Oh, very deep from Connor Knight, and that's how he lost his front wing. Decided immediately to go into attack mode. Interesting. I guess if you make a mistake, try and lose as little time as possible. This is Scott just going way too deep into turn 19 and trying to make friends with the JCB recovery vehicle. Reversing back onto the track, which is a little bit dangerous. The sort of thing that can get you disqualified as well, if you're not careful. Here's Paparinopoulos. Going to attack mode. Oh, and almost having to come to a stop because he's gone way too deep there into 9 and 10. Here is Coleman versus Hartley. Oh, massive drift. Oh, incredible save from Aidan Coleman there. He was so lucky he didn't get taken out because, yeah, Hartley was not giving out an awful lot of space there with a damaged car. I was amazed that Hartley tried to fight as hard as he did, knowing how incredibly poorly that condition that car was in after being slammed into the wall at high speed. And this is that first stop where I think maybe he just attempted to repair the damage and didn't do a good enough job. I'm going to send a message to the general channel to see if anyone is up for an interview. And this is Paparinopoulos after the race, enjoying a hard-fought sixth position. So no signs of any interviews so far, which is a shame. Would love to talk to our race winner. You see. The generic screen there. So reminder of the calendar. That was round 4. So we are over halfway, almost into the season now. Next round, oh joys, will be 4th of June at Diriyah in Saudi Arabia, followed by Rome, Italy on the 18th of June. Which, oddly, we still got the abandoned first race of the season. Diriyah will be round 5. Rome will be round 6 on the 18th of June. And Monaco will be the mystery race. I believe the mystery race has been revealed. Which will be 2nd of July. So yeah, Monaco, it was seen here in the background, and it's going to be the full version of Monaco, if I'm not mistaken. So that should be really, really exciting. And we have got one driver that wants to talk to us. It is Connor Knight. So Connor Knight from Fucking Fast Racing. Joins us now. Connor, that was an interesting race. A lot of rearguard action for most of it. You versus Robin Mulling was the story. So a couple of flashpoints. First at the start, well done for not taking James Duber out, because he did go on to win in a Hunter Birch simulation car. So would have been PTSD flashbacks for me if we had a replay of Byrne there. But anyway, that didn't end too badly. Then the rest of the race was you versus Robin. And then Mr. Aidan Coleman slowly caught up to both of you. At one point, you both got so caught up defending from each other. You made a mistake into 19, if I'm not mistaken. Robin got stuck behind, and then Aidan slipped up the inside of both of you. So that was a situation that Aidan took advantage of that was mainly created by you, it must be said.
Yeah.
And then you still got on the defensive and somehow held on from Robin despite losing the front wing.
Yeah, I mean, it's just he made a silly move, and I thought I was just gonna park the bus on him now. I thought he was just doing silly moves all race, trying to go into the fast chicane. It was never gonna work.
He did try to go and move up the inside at 21.
He did it about he did it about 5 times into that chicane, and yeah, it's not on. But no, it was all right race. Just didn't really struggle with energy at all. Just thought I parked the bus. But no, just lost front wing on my own going for attack mode.
I thought you lost the front wing and then decided to go for attack mode.
No, I was going to go for attack mode, so I thought I'd chuck all the speed in and then just cloud wall. So
too much speed.
Way too much.
People mainly complaining about attack mode making the car too hard to drive, but you had problem just going for attack mode made the car too hard to drive.
Oh, the car was battered anyway from him hitting the back of me in the last corner.
Oh, true.
So it ruined the respect.
He was just trying to make you go more decking fast. I think. I'm sure that's
dad jokes.
I think he might have been thinking something slightly different that rhymes with ducking, but yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway, talk us through that final lap as well, because obviously James comes through to lap you, and Tony Paparinopoulos, who's again the other 360 car. It was a bit of a rerun of the Coleman thing, except this time he had the fact that Jupa was lapping you all on the final lap to win, and had Steffel not far behind him. That he played that to his advantage because the blue flags came out.
Yeah,
Robin couldn't overtake you, but you had to let James through, and Tony took advantage of that as well. Was that frustrating for you from your point of view?
No, not really. No, it's not really. He pulled my trousers down. Simple as that. He's royally mugged me. But no, I was just waiting for Robin to get out of the way, and then I got out of the way so he couldn't go by me, and then Tony just straight went through with the lap car. The lap car's the leaders. There we go. Got it eventually. But, nah, it's right. It is what it is. At the end of the day, it's just a game, isn't it?
I'm trying to think of some weird Cockney slang we can use for the blue flag. Like,
I'm not even Cockney. I'm from Kent.
I know. Okay, all right. Kentney then.
Oh, God damn it, no!
Sorry, Connor.
No, it's okay.
I did make a very bad night pun at some point where I said that Robin Mulling was trying to dismount you,
Oh.
which I guess could have been misinterpreted as instead
Well, I
of a
mean,
knight
judging
on
by the way he
horseback.
was driving, he was trying to mount me anyway, so.
Oh dear, yeah. Maybe you should put him on your Christmas cards list. See how that goes.
Oh, he's on the naughty list.
But anyway, considering you were the lead driver for Ducking Fast in this particular event, you put in a pretty strong performance, all things said. You looking forward to Diriyah next time out in Saudi Arabia?
Well, I mean, it's alright, isn't it? I'll get at Saudi on the F1 game, but that's a completely different track, so. Never driven
Ironically,
it.
one that
It
FE
is.
has also moved to in real life. So we got the old
Yeah,
track that
but-
the
so
real life field
why
loves.
don't we just do
but-
Big Cheddar?
I prefer Big Cheddar myself, but I guess that's more the advertising.
Oh
for the Road Around.
no! You just become a dad or something.
Yeah, I know. Sorry. So I had to commentate this entire race on my own because Peter's too shy. So, and Lorenzo wasn't around. Yep, there you go.
Oh dear, this has gone horribly wrong.
Sorry.
No, yeah, I don't mind it.
Just by existing, I've embarrassed you. I don't do this when I do real life commentary at like Butmore Park for go
Yeah,
kart.
Butmore Park.
Yeah, I've been to Butmore. It was for the first time actually.
Are you
couple weeks back.
local?
No,
Oh,
I had to get on the train to
say,
get
'cause
there.
I'm
No,
local.
I did nearly get taken out by a drone that went. If you see a big mark on the railing in front of the grandstand, that was the drone that nearly hit me. For reference.
I've seen that big old mark.
Yeah. Oh. In fact, it was
Oh,
quite
it's
funny
never-
because the drone nearly hit me, and the guy who owned it came up. He apologized, said the drone just went out of control, wasn't anything could have done. He's like, "Well, good thing it wasn't a couple of inches higher, otherwise you'd have nobody to apologize to, because they'd be
Yeah.
going away in the back of an ambulance." But then we looked down, we saw, oh, is that an SD card on the ground? Yeah, that must be from the drone. Yeah, you should go pick that up before the next race.
The drone is dead.
Well, they had to get a new one. Luckily, they did because they only had another race the following week.
Fair.
Oh, we just got a thank you message from Pascal Eggett before the event is over. Any final words, Connor, before we let you go on that hard-fought sick position? Was it sixth or was it seventh? No, it was seventh.
Yes.
It was nearly sixth.
Yeah. I'm still alive. I've survived somehow.
Oh, same here.
Oh well. Oh well, it is what it is. It's fun.
Yeah, always a pleasure to catch up with you, Connor. And yeah,
Yeah,
best
you
of
too,
luck
mate.
for the rest of the season. I'm sure before it ends, we'll see another chance for you to get in the top 5.
You might see me win, maybe, but I don't know.
Well, let's not ask for miracles.
Right. Okay. No. Right.
Hey,
Yeah.
you know, if I set it up saying it's not possible, I'm sure you will prove me wrong because you've done so on several occasions. In the
Yeah. I
past,
just need everyone to run out of energy, then we're fine. But yeah.
Thank you very much. Right. Anyway, thank you for joining us, and well done on the points.
Cheers, mate. Have a good one.
Right. I think even though he's not in the waiting room, we're going to try and drag James into the commentary box and hear what he has to say as the race winner. I think that'll be our final interview of the day. Oh, hi, James. Sorry to drag you in. I know you weren't in the waiting room, but for some reason, nobody ever goes in the waiting room apart from Connor there. So
I was going to message you to pull me in, so there you go.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, what's the point of having the waiting room if nobody uses it? Is what I think. But anyway, let's change topic completely. Another bad qualifying, another terrible start, another brilliant win. I think once you got past Louis at the start, then it was a case of Josh. You passed James fairly quickly. Mikael Steffel made a mistake. We didn't see quite what it was on stream. And then
I
once
think
you
he had
passed Josh,
connection issues. I think.
oh,
Mike had
that might have been.
connection
Yeah,
issues 'cause
that
he-
did
'cause he
explain why it
dropped
was so
back.
sudden.
Yeah.
But yeah, there was 2 good moves on Louis and on James Knox, and then Josh Hamilton. You went into attack mode, breezed past him, and he just didn't have an answer, did he? In the end, he did exactly what he did in Sao Paulo, moving back over for Steffel. To well, I don't think it was deliberate on this occasion. I think it was just the way the attack modes worked out. In the end, you win by a pretty comfortable. Well, I was going to say comfortable margin, but there was that kerfuffle on the final lap where, it was Antonio Paparinopoulos decided to cheekily follow you through and gain 2 positions as a result, past Connor Knight, who we were just talking to, and Robin Mulling. So I'm sure that was a bit nervy for you.
Yeah, it was definitely not what I wanted to see coming onto the final lap.
Yeah, because
Especially
Paparinopoulos
as
had a
Michael
massive
was,
moment, didn't he, in front of you?
yeah, especially with Michael catching up behind me because the gap dropped from like 5 or 6 seconds down to like 2. So I was just hoping that they didn't crash in front of me and they get out of my way and I'd have a clean run through, and it did in the end.
Absolutely. So 3 out of 4 for you so far this season. Then going into round 5, Diriyah, Saudi Arabia. Good track for you, James. Are you looking forward to that one?
Yeah, it should be a good track for me. I mean, to be fair, I think there isn't really a bad track. So,
Yeah, hopefully we can get a
we'll
teammate for
see.
you, because
Yeah.
everybody asked to fill in for Luke said either they weren't available or they just didn't want to download all the EERC Formula E stuff at short notice, I guess, just to save space on the PC. But, but yeah, we really should have had a proper reserve going into the season, but never mind, I guess. I guess it was all good fun. And any closer to finding a solution for the start issue? Because it did look like you nearly got hit by. You actually did get a little tap from Connor at the beginning, didn't you?
Yeah, I did. I think at the start. But yeah, it was all right. Ready to get on with it. Yeah, I'm trying different things each start. I just got to find something that works. So
Indeed. But the good news is, with the drop score applied, I think we are definitely leading the championship still. And I believe in the non-drop score standings, I think you got fastest lap, definitely. So you closed 4 points on Mikael Steffel, who led by 11 going in. So the gap is 11 minus 4 should be 7 points now. So yeah, absolutely possible that not only could we I mean, with only a couple of rounds left, 3 rounds left, isn't it? We're getting to the crunch point in this championship. So, in terms of permutations, I'll let you know what you have to do. But perfect job so far, buddy.
yeah, it's been going well. So yeah, just had the race pace, had the energy usage. So yeah, it's been all good.
If only we had another driver, just anybody, to get a couple of points out of that one, that would have helped in the team's championship against into the points that still round out the podium. But that's on me, I think, for failing to convince people to fill in for Luke. But anyway, right. I haven't got anything else left to say, and I've got no one else to hand over to. You can tell this has been a difficult commentary for me, can't you? Even though we won, which does make it worth it, of course. Yeah, any final thoughts, James, before we sign off as the winner?
No, it's going to be an interesting final few rounds for the championship with me against Michael, I think, with Josh, I think, still in the mix a little bit. So yeah,
Mikael
should be a
Steffel,
good final
the
few
old
rounds.
rival, eh? from from last season, isn't it, where he crashed into us a couple of times? But yeah, let's hope it doesn't end in acrimony, because. But yeah, he wouldn't do anything dirty. I don't think he's a dirty driver, and he's been driving relatively cleanly this season. It must be said, all things considered. And yeah, I look forward to a good fight, and yeah, I hope you do as well. So, anyway, thanks for joining us, James. Enjoy the champagne once again. Win number 3 in season 7. So, without further ado, then let's sign off from the broadcast, because I'm not sure that Aiden Coleman and Louis Hartley want to talk to us. Worth dragging them in, seeing what they have to. Let's just get them both in and see what they have to say. Okay, let's get Aiden in then. And last, but very much not least in the interview room, let's talk to 360 Motorsport's very own Aiden Coleman. Aiden, are you there?
I am. I was talking about iRacing. Where did?
Sorry,
You've been dragged away.
because nobody's
No.
using the interview room, so I've had to get creative here. I thought I should just talk to you, because what a brilliant drive from you to 5th position, where you didn't have an amazing first lap, but you fought your way through the pack. Louis Hartley destroyed his own race along with his car, and you were able to just about squeeze through as well. There was even that double move, wasn't there, on, or was it Connor Knight and Robin Mulling, where they were fighting each other? You just nipped up the inside and went from P8 to P6 in the space of about 3 seconds. So
Yeah, that definitely felt fun. Yeah, despite Robin's best efforts, I managed to catch back up to him.
Yeah, a lot of people are criticizing Robin's overly
Yeah.
friendly form of contact.
Yeah, he sent me. He went too wide on me going through the super fast chicane on the back half of the track. Went too wide through there. I'm not really sure why.
And there was a moment where you did a 360, didn't you?
I did do.
For the 3 and 4, was it?
That was during qualifying.
Oh, okay. Well, for some reason we saw a 360 doing a 360 in the race replays that Peter was showing us.
Oh,
And I thought it was you.
I have no idea. I think there's
Okay,
like
okay.
3 of us.
Pretty sure there's 2 blue ones. Anyway, right. Okay. Anyway, we're getting lost in the weeds here, but I believe that's your best result, isn't it, in EERC Formula E to date? That P5.
This season at least, yeah. Probably finished somewhere up here back when we did like Gen 1 like 6 or 7 years ago.
I forget how
2018,
long
I
you've been
think.
doing. You and James have been doing this forever, so
Yeah,
always
2018 was my first season in this.
This is a
Yeah, I
Gen
mean,
1 track as well, so you know it very, very well. But these Gen 3 cars, a little bit tricky as we found. Like Connor was telling us, just going into attack mode, he went way too deep into 9 and 10 and hit the wall.
yeah. And just the
And there
power
wasn't there the
boost I kept
moment with
planting.
Louis, I'm just remembering this now, we saw in the replay, where you're trying to overtake him and you very, very slid through turn 9 and very, very nearly hit the wall as well.
I'm pretty sure I hit like the corner, but it was so light it barely did anything compared to the other things that I had hit that race so far. No, yeah, he was crabbing around for like an entire lap. I figured I had to get by him right now, so I tried to floor it into that turn, but he had the exact same idea, so we both hit the brakes where we would in qualifying probably, and I ended up locking the rears. I mean, overall, it was a pretty fun race though.
Yeah, it was certainly fun to watch you fight your way through those battles. Been a good season for 360 overall, hasn't it? Luca's had some good races. You've had some increasingly strong performances as well. And even Antonio Paparinopoulos had a horrible first lap where he collided with Daniel Scott, lost his front wing and spun. And he recovered up to finish right behind you in the end, in the order in P6 with that. A little bit of luck, a little bit of help from James as well. It must be said. But yeah, it's great to see 360 going from strength to strength. Then you must feel confident going into Diriyah in a couple of weeks' time.
For sure, I'm just learning as I go. I don't touch these cars outside of race day pretty much, so every race is
I don't
a
think you're
learning
the only one.
experience. No, I'm sure not.
Some people don't even touch your cars on race day, as we've seen.
Apparently.
Yeah, but anyway, thank you very much for putting on a great show for Zayden, and yeah, best of luck for the rest of the season.
Yeah, hope to do even better. Preferably better than how far behind was I from fourth? Like 40 seconds?
Something like 42 seconds. Who's counting?
Yeah, not ideal.
Could have been worse.
Slight room for improvement.
Indeed, but I think every driver feels there's room for improvement, don't they?
Yeah.
Anyway, thank you very much for talking to us, and we'll let you go as I sign off the broadcast then.
Thank you.
So then, that's all from Punta Del Este. Congrats once again to Hunter Birch Simulation's very own James Juba. We'll be back then on the 4th of June for the fifth round of the season at Saudi Arabia in Diriyah, which we hope you join us for. But from me, Edward Hunter, from Peter Schumann, for everybody else here at EERC, thank you very much for watching Punta Del Este. And it's James Juba versus Mikael Steffel, our 2 winners so far in Season 7, going for that title. Who's going to win? Tune in next time.